What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love After Lockup Season 5, Episode 37, Love Me, Love Me Not. Let's get into Shante and True. So we see True on his way to get his woman back. He says that he is coming to see Shante. He wants his woman back and he's going to do whatever he can to get her back. So before he gets to her house, he stops by the grocery store to get a whole bunch of ingredients because he wants to. I thought he said he wanted to have a cook off with her. So, because he considers himself, a very good cook. He took culinary classes while he was in prison. And when we see True, he's got, True is always going to be dressed. You will never catch True bumming it out. He's always going to be dressed. And so he's got his outfit on, his shoes, his jewelry, his hat, everything. And he's driving a car. I don't know if this is a car that he bought or somebody lent it to him or he rented it. I don't know, but he's got his car, jewelry, clothes, phone, everything. And he said that he made a lot of money gambling. And the producers asked him, well, how much did you make or how much do you have? And he was like, I plead the fifth, whatever. So he gets to Shantae's house, bags of groceries in hand, because you never show up at somebody's house empty handed. Bags of groceries in hand. And Shantae's going to act like she doesn't want to let him in. And she's like, what are you doing here? What do you want? She lets him in. So he's inside and she lets it be known to him that, look, I'm not going to, don't think that you're gonna win me back that easily. True tells her that he wants to get good with her again. She's like, I'm so sick and tired of you flapping your gums. You need to show me. If you want to get back good with me, stop talking about it and be about it and show me action that you really want to get back good with me. So Shantae says, people were always telling me that you were just using me. And then True kind of let it slip when he said, I don't need to use you, I'm out now. And Shantae caught that. And she was like, oh, so what you're trying to say is you were using me when you were in prison. And he says, well, I did need you when I was in prison. I needed you to send me money, blah, blah, blah. But I'm out now. So I don't need you to give me anything. You don't have to do anything for me anymore because I'm free. I'm independent. I can do for myself. So then she asked him if he was talking to someone else during their breakup. And he says he was talking to somebody else. And he realized that the grass was not greener on the other side, that he belongs with Shantae. I'm pretty sure because I don't think the other woman or women that he was seeing were as dumbstruck by True like the way Shantae is. Okay, they probably saw him for what he was, and they knew that True is only here for a good time, not a long time. So the other women were probably like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kick it with you and all, but I'm not gonna take care of you." So he says he realizes that his heart belongs to Shantae. He wants to be back with Shantae. Now, my personal opinion is, and probably always will be, until True can prove me otherwise, that he's with Shantae, wants to be with her because it's financially comfortable. She makes it financially comfortable for him. So he does admit to her that he was seeing other people, or he was at least seeing somebody else. And True says that he tells us that Shantae is good for him and that he needs her in his life, which it's obvious that Shantae is good for him because she keeps him on track. She keeps him accountable. She does spoil him, she does coddle him, but she does want him to do better and she tries to steer him in that direction. Maybe the other women really didn't care if he went back to prison. They didn't care if he was trying to do the right thing. They just wanted to have fun with him. But Shantae, I guess she's trying to build him into what she thinks is her ideal man. And so she's willing to work with him and put in the time and the effort and the energy to try to make him do better. So he tells us, Shantae's good for me. I need to be with Shantae. And he apologizes to her for how he treated her. And he really wants to be back with her. So she tells him, well, I'm not ready to take you back. So just, don't think that because you cooked me some omelets and some mushrooms that, it's all good again. I'm going to take you back. She says, you can spend the night, but you're going to sleep on the couch. And I don't think Shantae can resist True. She might tell him to go sleep on the couch, but I think that if he tried to sneak into her bed, I don't see Shantae kicking him out. I really don't see that happening. I think this woman is very, very, very weak for True. Now, one thing that I will say about True is that there's something about him that is charismatic. There's something about him that is attractive. He's a good-looking guy. He likes to keep up with himself. He's not just going to show up any kind of way. He's always looking presentable, even though people say that his look is kind of dated, like going back to late 90s, early 2000 or whatever. I don't know. So, but he's always going to be presentable. He's going to show up in his true fashion, his true style. And he's charismatic. He is. I can see why she's drawn to him. I can see why girls are drawn to him. His personality, the way he talks, the way he is, makes you want to believe the things that he says, because it almost comes off as sincere. When he tells her, "I'm sorry, I want us to work it out. I want to be good with you again." You kind of want to believe him. There's something about True that kind of pulls on your heartstrings, that kind of makes you want to give him that chance. There's just something about him. I don't know what it is. He kind of comes off like he's really genuine. But in my heart of hearts, I'm the kind of person where I'm like, and this is probably very old fashioned and archaic. I'm that kind of person who's like, the man has to do for the woman. If he really wants you, he's got to do for you. It can't be the woman chasing him. It can't be the woman trying to always do for him. It can't be the woman trying to take care of him. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you've been in prison for 20 years, 30 years. It doesn't matter. If you want to be with a woman, you need to work for that. You need to make it happen. And if you can't make it happen right away, take the time to work on yourself, get yourself together, and then, come holler at her if she's still available. If you want to be with her, you got to work for her. Now, a lot of people, and I think Shante is like this, a lot of people are like, I have to prove to him that I'm serious. I have to prove to him that it's better over here with me than it would be with anybody else. That's kind of like how Shante plays her game with True. Like she is constantly wanting him to understand, and she always wants to remind him that it's better over here because I will take care of you. I don't know, I could be wrong. But True is trying to get his woman back, and it seems like it's working. Obviously it worked because like I said, in real life, they're getting married. Moving on to Zariah and Troy. So, Zariah and Troy, I thought they were getting ready to go see his daughter and in Buffalo. So I don't know what happened, because this whole scene with Zariah and Troy, I felt like we were missing something. So they're supposed to be getting ready to go to Buffalo to see Troy's daughter, and of course, if they're going to see the daughter, they have to see the mother of the child as well. Now, nobody sees it for Yana. Her name is Yana. Zariah doesn't like her. Troy really doesn't want to fool with her, but he has to because that's the mother of his child. His mother doesn't like her. So as they're getting ready to go, um, Zariah and Troy get into an argument because she felt like he was talking to Yana, that they were having conversations. And he was trying to tell her that it's not like that because I have no interest in her. I have to talk to her because she's got my child. So I have to talk to her to make arrangements to see my daughter, but it's not like that. It's not like we're messing around or fooling around or I want to be back with her or anything like that. Zariah doesn't believe that. I think he called her. I think he called her, and that's what set her off. So she says she's not going to Buffalo. He tells her, my daughter's looking forward to seeing you because I told my daughter about you and she really wants to meet you. And Zariah didn't care. She didn't give a damn. She's like, I'm not going. You go to Buffalo by yourself. And so they start arguing. He doesn't understand why she's mad. He's trying to convince her that there's nothing going on between me and Yana. And she's not believing it. His mother, is trying to intervene and get Zariah to understand that, look, it's not like that. He doesn't want to be with her. We don't even consider her family. Obviously, the child is a part of our family, but not the mother. Zariah doesn't want to hear it. So then Troy gets upset. She tells him, get your stuff and go. So he leaves. He leaves. We see him taking a very angry walk around the block. The producers are trying to catch up to him. They're trying to ask him, what's going on, what's wrong. And he's like, I'm not even talking to Yana. And she thinks that I am. And I keep telling her that I'm not talking to Yana like that. I don't want to be with her. There's nothing going on between me and Yana. And she doesn't believe me. So on and so forth. Now, let's get back with Zariah. So Zariah, I guess, changed her mind and decided to go to Buffalo because her and Troy's mom get in the car. Troy's mom is worried about Troy. She's like, where's my son? Where did he go? Where did he disappear to? And she calls Yana. I'm thinking of all the people. Why would you call Yana? Troy is here with you, with y'all. Why are you calling Yana trying to figure out what's going on with Troy? But she calls Yana and says, oh my God, Troy's missing. And Yana tells his mother that, Troy right now is feeling very overwhelmed. He feels like he can't really do the things that he wants to do. And I was like, how does she know that? So evidently, Zariah, her suspicions are probably accurate, because evidently if Yana knows what's going on with Troy right now mentally, they must be having conversations. And so Zariah has a reason to be upset if they're having conversations like this. And it's not just about the daughter. Troy is telling Yana what he's going through emotionally, what he's going through mentally. And then the mother calls when they get back to the apartment, because by this time Zariah is like, you know what? The whole day is ruined. It's canceled. Let's just go back to the apartment. They get back to the apartment, and Troy's mother calls Yana again. And evidently, maybe I misheard. Evidently, it seems like Yana told Troy's mom that Zariah has been having another man at the apartment, like she's seeing somebody else. And so their segment ends when Troy's mom wanted to confront Zariah about what Yana just told her. If she does do that, if I heard correctly, like I said, none of this stuff is worth me rewinding to listen again. If I heard correctly, I think Yana told his mom that Zariah has been having another man in the house, or she's seen another man, and the mom got upset and she wanted to confront Zariah about it. I think that's what went down. If that is true, okay, if that is what I heard, y'all, Zariah is going to explode. She is going to explode because she does not like Yana at all. And if Yana is trying to spread lies about her, I don't know if this stuff is true or not, but if Zariah takes it as Yana spreading lies about her, she is going to absolutely explode. But there's too many people involved. There's too many people involved in Troy and Zariah's relationship. Troy, I don't know if you and Yana are having intimate conversations. I don't know if that's what's going on, but there's too many people involved in this relationship. You got the mother, you got Yana, to some degree, even her parents, because her parents are trying to get him to go into the ministry. Too many people are involved in this relationship. Moving on to Hope and Arthur. So, y'all, let's talk about Arthur's eyes for a second. I keep on forgetting to mention this. Arthur, to me, has got the prettiest eyes I've ever seen. Um, they're 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 very deep. His eyes are very, 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 very deep and very expressive. You can tell exactly what's going on with Arthur by just looking into his eyes. But anyway, I digress. So, I'm just gonna get to the bones of Hope and Arthur. The scene where okay, so Hope and Arthur are having a conversation in her living room, and he's trying to fix a shelf. I think put together a shelf. And he tells her that he was rummaging through her closet looking for something, looking for his old letters and drawings that he would send her. And he came across a picture of another man. And he asked her about this. And she was like, she played it down. I don't know if this was a dude that she was seeing while she was supposedly with Arthur, or if this was someone that she was seeing before Arthur or during one of their breakups. I have no idea. But he felt some kind of way about it. So she was like, okay, so you saw a picture of another dude. Let's talk about it. All of a sudden, he was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. It's fine. I'm good. It's fine. He doesn't want to talk about it. And she's like, no, let's talk about it. Like, how are you feeling about that? And he completely shut down. He completely shut down. And so she tells him, you can't just bottle everything up inside. If you're feeling something, if you want to talk about something, if something is on your mind, let it out. Let's have a conversation. We need to talk about it. And he just completely shut down. Now, the realist, so then he says, Then he says that because Hope had cheated on him, and because she won't introduce him to her family, and because he saw this picture, he feels like he can't trust Hope. And then he says the most realist thing I have ever heard on this show. He says, I am still institutionalized. And then he had a complete breakdown. So he gets up, he leaves, and we see him walking down this long hallway of their apartment building. And he's very overwhelmed and he's very emotional. The producers decide to take him outside for some air because they feel like something really isn't right. So they take him outside to get some air, and he has clamped up. He refuses to talk. Hope eventually comes outside and she's like, what is going on? What's wrong? He does not say a single word. Now, he's stiff as a board. She tries to give him a hug. He doesn't want to be touched. He is stiff as a board. All he's doing is just staring at her like he doesn't know who she is. Like he doesn't know where he is. Like he doesn't know who he is. He's just staring at her. And she's like, you're scaring me. Arthur, what is wrong? Talk to me. And he's not saying anything. He eventually says to her, I love you. And like, that's it. And that was so eerie and so scary when he said that. It was almost as if he was saying that for the last time. Like he was about to go away or disappear or do something really crazy. It was a very, very real moment. It was a very strange moment. And so in his confessional, he talks about how he went through a lot in prison. He went through a lot. He saw a lot. He even saw a man take his last breath in prison. And he was like, once you see somebody's soul leave their body, you are forever changed. You are never the same again. So evidently, he went through so much in prison, and he's admitting it. He's talking about it, that, yeah, prison changed him. A lot of people will come out of prison trying to act like, hey, everything is good. I'm out now. I'm free. Let me start living life again. It's all good. But they don't admit or cannot confront their demons, that prison can really change you. And so he talks about how he's been really changed. And basically, he left prison, but prison never left him. It is still in him. And that's why he told her, I am still institutionalized. Sometimes he says he wakes up in the morning and he thinks he is still in that cell. So they call his mother. They put his mother on speakerphone, and the mother kind of understood, I think, what he was going through, because she was like, is it a little bit too overwhelming for you? Are you outside and it's a little bit too much for you? And he tells his mother, yeah. And so the mother tells him, I love you. You're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. So she tries to talk him off the ledge. Thankfully, at the end of their segment, and it was like the way he was like looking around, because they were like on the sidewalk, right? He said the people around him, the workers around, like the construction workers around him, the people around him looked like demons. Like he felt like he was in hell and he was seeing demons. So thankfully, the show got him help, because at the end of their segment, they put up a blurb on the screen saying that, the producers or whoever, they were able to get him help. And I was just like so thankful for that, because he needs that. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny at all, but I've always wondered, when people have been incarcerated for so long, let's say more than 5 years, do the prison systems give them counseling on how to deal with the world and how to deal with life once they're released? Because it ain't no joke. Being stuck in this box for years and years and years. And Arthur even says, you see the same walls every day, the same colors every day. Nothing changes, always the same every day. And in prison, you are in survivor mode. You can't tap into your emotions or your feelings. You always have to have a guard up. You always have to have a wall around you, because you never know when anything is going to pop off. You don't know what could happen to you minute by minute, day by day. And so you're constantly on guard. And that can really affect you mentally, emotionally. You're constantly on guard. You're constantly in defense mode and survivor mode every single day that you're there. So to me, the Arthur segment tonight was very, very real. It was the realest thing I've ever seen on Live After Lockup. And I'm just, I don't know what's going on with Arthur and Hope in real life, but I just hope that Arthur did get the help that he needed. Whatever's going on between him and Hope, I hope that he eventually got the help that he needed to make himself a better person and to help him adjust to society. Moving on to Bianca and Daniel. So Bianca has moved to Arizona. This is where Daniel is incarcerated at. So she's finally made it to Arizona, moved into the apartment that she paid up front the whole entire 4 months of her lease. She paid it all in one lump sum, and he's supposed to be released the next day. But before she goes to before he's released, she's gonna have to meet his parents. So they make arrangements or whatever for her to meet his parents, and they meet at a bar. She meets his parents and his cousin at a bar, which is really interesting because Daniel's stepfather is an alcoholic. He's a recovering alcoholic, and he's been 5 months sober. And I was like, why did y'all decide to meet at a bar with all the alcohol there, in plain view? Like, why was this a good idea? But anyways, so the parents are, well, mostly well, first of all, the stepfather apologizes to Bianca about asking her if she was mentally unstable. His excuse was he's got this weird sense of humor. And so she was like, okay, fine, whatever, let's move on. So then the conversation immediately goes to Bianca drinking in front of Daniel. The mom and the stepfather and the cousin, they're all very, very concerned about Daniel's sobriety. And they're very concerned about Bianca, the role that she's going to play in his sobriety. So they're like, are you going to be drinking around him? And she was like, well, I don't see anything wrong with me having a glass of wine with dinner. And the family was like, no, that's not an option. That is not an option. So then she says, well, I don't have to drink in front of him. I can drink with my friends when I go out with other people. I don't have to drink around him. Then his mother says, well, do you have to drink at all? Do you have to drink at all? So the mom, I think, would have much preferred for him to have, a girlfriend who didn't drink at all. Bianca, she's telling us in her confessional that she doesn't have a problem with alcohol. So why should she stop drinking just because, he's a recovering alcoholic? So evidently she doesn't get it at all. I don't know why she feels the need. If you love this man so much and you care about his sobriety and you want to marry him and have this life with him, why do you feel the need like you have to drink? Like, I don't understand, because she's like, I'm not changing my life for him because I don't have a problem. So the mother then talks about how one drink for Daniel can lead to him taking drugs again. It's going to be a slippery slope for him. One drink will lead to more drinks, will lead to drugs, will lead to him, in a really bad place. So it's really important that she supports his attempt to stay clean. The mom then tells Bianca that she has already lost a son to addiction. So her middle child OD'd, and she doesn't want to lose Daniel. And so to her, this is very serious. She's not playing any games when it comes to any kind of alcohol or drugs around Daniel. And I don't know if Bianca realizes how serious it really is. And so Bianca tells us that she understands how addiction works. She totally understands how it works. And that she says she's got no problem with still having her glass of wine with dinner. And Daniel just better learn how to handle it, I guess, as far as she's concerned. So good luck to them with all of that, because I just don't understand. I just don't get it, why she feels the need to do this. Um, if she claims that she loves him and she cares for him, I don't see why she's like, I'm still going to live my life and do whatever the hell I want to do. He's just going to have to deal with it. So she doesn't understand addiction. Moving on to Julian and Christine. So they talk about her custody issues. Thank God, um, she's trying to do something to see her son. And because when she left West Virginia without seeing her son, I was like, I understand that the mother has custody of the child and that she has full control over visitation. I'm pretty sure that this is not a regular, if she is allowed visitation with her child, I know it's not like, oh, she can just pick him up and take him wherever. I totally understand that. But I thought that, I'm not going to leave a state without seeing my son if I haven't seen him in 7 months? If my mom is not going to let me see my child, then I'm going to stay right here and we're going to go to court. And if I can't afford an attorney, I'm going to go get legal aid or an attorney that can work with me pro se to help me see my child one last time before I leave the state, because who knows when she's going to see him again. So I just wish that she would have fought harder to see him. Like, what is the rush of going to West Virginia? Like, I didn't understand any of that. Um, I feel like, what does the child think once he knows that his mom was so nearby because she left him a gift? His mother was so nearby and he didn't get to see her. But anyways, so she's got all these custody issues. She's got, her ex has the twins in Ohio. Her mother has her son in West Virginia. So Julian tells us that he's already paying for a lawyer who is dealing with all of her custody issues, her child support issues for her twins in Ohio. So he's got that lawyer working on her twins case. She wants him to get another lawyer in West Virginia to help her with her son's case. And he's like, I can't afford that. What you're asking me to do requires two incomes. Okay, you're built like a workhorse. Go to work, get a job, make something happen. And she's like, oh, you just don't understand how hard it is to get a job when you're a felon. Okay, Christine, fine. If you can't get a job because of your record and you can't work and you can't bring an income, don't put it all on somebody else to take care of your financial problems. Then you just can't do it. Then you just can't fight for custody for your son. You have to leave that alone until you can get back on your feet and you can start earning money. But don't make it his problem. Don't make your problems his problems. So he tells her, well, if you want me to help you in this way, you need to go to work and you need to help me. And so she complains about, okay, not getting a job because she's a felon. And then she talks about how, I guess on social media, she had seen all these pictures that Julian had posted, I guess, when he was married or whatever, of him and his ex-wife traveling all over Europe, taking expensive trips, living this very, I guess, upper middle class type of lifestyle. So she thought that it was going to be the same for her. No, ma'am, it's not. Okay? I don't care how much this man says he loves you. You are not the ex. You're not the mother of his children. That's a different type of woman. That was a whole different type of relationship. So, no, you just can't slide on in and take the place of his ex-wife and expect to get all the benefits that she once enjoyed. I don't know if Julian is broke now. He's not as rich as he used to be after his divorce because he's got child support and alimony and whatever else. I don't know what's going on with Julian's finances, but I'm not understanding why Christine thinks that Julian is going to take care of her 100%. Like I said, you're built like a workhorse. You need to go to work. So she thought, I guess, he was really loaded and that she was going to have it easy. And then she tells him, when I was incarcerated, you promised to take care of me. What do you mean by that, Christine? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, you didn't have to lift a finger, and like I said, you're going to be like a sugar baby? You're not a sugar baby. You're a workhorse. So, yeah. Uh, please come back to reality, Christine. Please come back to reality. Um, Moving on to Leticia and Keith. Leticia goes to see an attorney, a real one. And she tells the attorney what this paralegal, whatever his name is, had told her about Keith's early release from prison, about the law changing regarding whatever crime that he had committed, and that he was going to be entitled to have an early release. So all the stuff that this so-called paralegal had filed, she shows to the actual attorney. And the attorney looks at it all, and he's like, yeah, whoever this person is, they completely misinterpreted the law. The law doesn't say that. The law, in fact, has not changed. Okay. This doesn't affect Keith. This affects how these types of crimes are prosecuted or handled from here on out. So this new law, policy, or whatever it is that you thought was going to allow him to be released, yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with him. He has to finish serving his time, which is 8 months. He's got 8 months left. So obviously Leticia is devastated. She's like, oh my God, I told his whole family that he was going to be out any day. I told my kids that daddy was coming home. And she feels embarrassed because she relied on a fake lawyer. And so the attorney right away knew who this paralegal. Now, he didn't know him personally, but he already knew what the game was. He was like, let me guess. He claims that he's a paralegal and that he can file all these documents for you, all these petitions for you, because this is how he got himself out of prison. And that's exactly what it is. So the lawyer was basically like, yeah, you got bamboozled. You got scammed for your money. You got bamboozled. He doesn't understand the law. He's not an attorney. And you should never have paid him a single dime for any fake legal advice he was trying to give you. So yeah, you got scammed. So now she's upset. So she goes home. She tells her sister-in-law, Keith's sister, that Keith is not coming home. And the sister is like, "Oh, damn, that's pretty bad. But I got even more bad news for you, Leticia. Well, I just found out that the owner of this house wasn't paying the mortgage. So the bank is going to foreclose on the house, and you're going to have to move in 2 months." And it's like, if it can't get any worse, it did for Leticia. So now she's got to worry about moving. Her man ain't coming home. She got scammed out of however much this fake lawyer got out of her. So Leticia, she has the blues. She has the blues real bad. And that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.